Hello and welcome round to my house. There's still a day to go, but it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas down in Hampshire today. The decorations are up, the gifts are wrapped, the cupboards are full of delicious food, and my guests will be here any minute. For the next 2 hours, we're going to be treating you to a feast of festive food and fun. So what are we doing out here? Let's get inside, let's get cooking. Morning. Are you coming in then? Good morning, and what a show we've got lined up for you this Christmas Eve. I'll be serving up something a little bit fancier than a big breakfast when my old mate Denise van Outen drops by the house a little bit later. We're looking forward to that one. And the king of the jungle turned wannabe chef, Joe Swash, will be here as well. He'll be tucking in some incredible smoked croquettes a little bit later on. My journey from islands to highlands has come to an end on the final leg of my food adventures as it takes me to the beautiful Shetland Isles. And we've got another brilliant recipe in store from the double Michelin star genius. Daniel Clifford will be back as well. Looking forward to that one. And don't miss this week's little masterclass when I'll be showing you everything you want to know about a simple plate of scampi, one of my favourite dishes on earth. And Christmas has come early because we're also joined by a man who's an absolute master of patisserie in the kitchen. It's the fabulous Richard Burtonay.
Thank you.
Now,
nice
already the smells are going on this morning in the house because you're doing something pretty special, aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
What are you going to be making then?
Stollen.
Stollen. Difficult to make or easy to make?
I never liked stollen before.
You never liked stollen before?
I change everything and make it with a bit of a twist, as you see.
Okay.
So,
Is it because it's sometimes it's quite difficult to make? People
yeah,
tried it.
I think I've changed a little bit of it. So it's the fruit packed with fruit, almond cream again. So if you remember, almond cream,
yeah.
bit of marzipan inside, but it's going to be delicious.
Well, the response from the croissants that you brought.
I know,
last
it was
time.
good, wasn't it?
Ah, that's amazing. Anyway, so you're here. We've got whiskey in front of us, and we're gonna.
I love it here.
Exactly. But we're gonna. I thought with this one, we're gonna do a lovely little whiskey tiramisu, really. So
I love that.
Particularly this time of year, everybody's got a lot of people coming round as well. Now COVID's hopefully out of the way, and that's all done. Now we can all celebrate together. So I'm going to do a wonderful little sort of start a tiramisu-style dessert. So the first thing we do is make the sabayon for this. So the sabayon comes in the form of egg yolks and sugar. So what you've got to do with this is sort of put it over a bain-marie, which is really just a pan of hot water. And you want to put the egg yolks and the sugar in just when you need them. The key to this is not add them too early because the sugar will actually cure the egg yolks if you're not too careful. So we'll fire up this a little bit, and you want this sort of gently simmering like you've got there. And as we whisk it all up, it'll start to thicken it a little bit, lighten up. Now, of course, in this, you need another bit of the mixture, which is double cream, where we're going to take some double cream and then just sort of par whip this in a blender. And you want this slightly thick. So the double cream's going to go in here, and we'll get that going. And then, classically, of course, we've got some coffee. We've got some sponge fingers, which I know this reminds you of Christmas, doesn't it? You told me. Can we tell that amazing story about you and your gran?
Oh, yeah. My grandmother always said, I don't drink.
This is always around Christmas time.
Well, every Sunday. But she used to go through a whole packet of boudoir biscuit, as we call it. So she used to dip them in a foot of champagne and eat them. So she was not drinking. She was dipping the biscuit in champagne all the time.
She's not actually drinking, she's eating.
Eating.
Eating, that's the right... Well,
she was so sloshed by the end of it.
She's eating.
She's eating.
She's eating. So we're going to whisk this up as well. The cream, for instance, with this one, what you want to make sure is the cream is not too over-whipped, but it needs stability in there. So that's why double cream's quite good for this, but you want to make sure that it's nice and stable. Otherwise, if it's not whipped enough, the thing can collapse. So double cream. And when you're whisking this up, sometimes you put a bit of liqueur in there. We're going to mention these amazing whiskies in a minute, but you can tell now as this starts to warm up, what you want to do is you're basically cooking the egg yolks.
Very quick, isn't it?
Sorry?
Very quick.
Yeah, it happens quite quickly. French call this a sabayon. But you can actually turn this into a wonderful little dessert. You can put a little bit of masala in here. And then you can pour this over just fruit in the summer as well. It's absolutely delicious. It really, really is. But it's just great as a little dessert. A base for a dessert like this is perfect. But the cream, just to show you, because this is the important bit, you want to make sure the stability with this cream. You've got this, multitasking to its tea, there we go. like that. Typical Christmas. There we go. And we got a little bit of stability in this cream. I just want to show you this because we're going to introduce you to the supplier of this amazing whiskey in a minute. But I just want to get this right, this bit. So you want it sort of softly whipped, which this is. There you go. You can see it's sort of, it wants to be the sort of the same texture of everything, doesn't it, really? That's the key to it. So you can't resist helping me out here. But we just want to whiskey this up like this and keep going. So while I'm keeping going this, we're going to kick things off with some of this amazing sort of whiskey, like I said. So to find out more about this cream that I'm going to add to it, the whiskey cream and the whiskey, so we're going to head up to my neck of the woods in Yorkshire to speak to David Thompson from the Spirit of Yorkshire Distillery. Welcome to the show, David.
Thanks, James.
Now,
Thanks
first of all, Yorkshire Distillery. There can't be many people, if not, I've never heard of it as a whiskey distillery in Yorkshire. You must be the only one, are you?
There are a couple of small ones, but we're the only one with whiskey actually on the market at the moment. And it's quite a long story because you've got to wait, 3 years before you can actually call your whiskey whiskey. So it has to mature for a minimum of 3 years.
I was going to say that for a Yorkshireman. That's quite a big investment, so that must hurt.
Oh, gosh, yeah. It always hurts, James.
Exactly. So where did the idea come from? Because you look at it from a scientific point of view. Where's the background of the farm and where you are? You're in a little place called Unmunby, where you pronounce it's spelt with a H, but you lose the H in the Yorkshire. It's a thing. It's Hummunby or Yorkshire in Yorkshire. So what made you get started, and what's your background in terms of whiskey?
Oh, well, no background in whiskey, but background in farming and looking after crops, so particularly malting barley. So I met my business partner, Tom Meller, who's the farmer, third-generation farmer, been growing malting barley on the farm for a long, long time. So he set up a brewery called Wooltop Brewery back then and has been making beer for a long, long time. But in 2012-13, he approached me and said, David, we need to make whiskey. My background is also crop science, so I used to look after his barley as well. So, yeah, it sort of worked really, really well.
So tell me about this, because the process of actually making it, before you even get to the barrel, it's much more complicated, it's much more difficult, much more structured than, say, gin, for instance. There's a lot more going on in terms of the process, because there's several processes all the way through the system in there. So, first of all, how do you make... Give us a quick insight of how you make whiskey, those people who don't know.
OK, so after we've harvested the barley, we need to malt the barley, which effectively is making those sugars inside the barley accessible for fermentation. So that's actually just sent down to Bridlington, which you'll know pretty well. And there's a malting factory down there. They malt the barley. It's our barley that comes back to us, so we ring fence it. And that's the starting place. We then mill the barley. It's now malt, so we mill the malt and we extract the sugars and then start the fermentation process. Pretty much like beer, but what we don't do is we don't add any hops and we don't add any, we don't boil the wash at that stage. We call that wash now, and it actually ferments up to 8% over about 70-odd hours fermentation. So that's the starting place, and there's a lot more beyond that, James.
And each whiskey's, totally, I've tasted yours, but, whether you go to Scotland, whether you go to Ireland, you've all got your own individual flavours. Where does that come from? It's not just from the barrel, is it, really? It's got to be from that, like you say, the beginning of it, the malting process, that kind of stuff. It's got to come from the original starting point, is it?
Absolutely. Flavour is process-driven, it's choice-driven. So how you distill, how you ferment, the cask you use, you rightly say. But the starting place is the grain and out of our field, which is the most important bit. Not saying that the field adds flavour, but certainly from that process onwards, we're adding flavour all the time. The cask plays a massive part, but if you don't get the spirit right to start with, indeed there's a glass here of the spirit straight off the still today. If you put your nose to that, it's incredibly flavoursome already. Now, if that was the starting place for gin, it wouldn't be flavoursome at all. You add your flavours after for gin, but with this, it's already got that sort of base flavour. So that's a fundamental difference between the spirit you start with gin and whiskey. And
it's interesting, we had this, you kindly delivered this, and we had the crew come in, and this is the reason why we do this, I think. I started this sort of 2 years ago in lockdown, in COVID land and all that kind of stuff. I wanted to showcase all the amazing producers, and we found, you surprised me. I like I said, I've been in Yorkshire all my life, and I hadn't got a clue that you were just down the road. I had no idea. And you've relatively new when you've started this. How long's the distillery been going? Because it's not that old.
No, it was built in 2015, and our first distillate ran on 2016. So literally, sort of, coming up to 6 years, just beyond. So yeah, we're young, but we're also pretty unique in the fact that 100% of the barley is going into our bottles, and that throughout the industry, that is quite rare.
Well,
we're also, James. Sorry.
I said at the beginning of this, the reason why we did it is that I wanted to introduce the public at large to about the amazing produce we have in this country.
Thank you.
Right across the board, from Scotland to Ireland, all over the place, because we do have amazing produce in this country. That is unbelievable. And there's a reason why that's popular. You've got a Frenchman going away.
I need to drink some too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
The French will love this.
Yeah, the French will love it as well. But wish you all the very best of luck with it. Thanks for being a part of this.
When you're home, come and see us, yeah?
I will. I'm definitely going to be there. I'm going to bring a big truck. But, yeah, exactly. Thank you for being a part of it. Thank you. I'm going to do the equivalent of a Beaujolais run, but the opposite way. I'm going to go north.
Can I come, please?
Exactly. So look, we've got... This is the sort of a tiramisu sort of thing that we got in here. What I've done is I put it in the fridge. You can leave this for a couple of hours. You can eat this straight away. It's entirely up to you. But we're going to take a scoopful.
Can I have a little refill of this one, please?
You can have a little refill, yeah. But there you have... It's not a classic tiramisu, so, purists, don't bother phoning in. Anyway, don't bother phoning in. It's Christmas. I won't answer it anyway. But not that I bother answering it anyway in the first place. But look, we just got this. This is what it's about. It's about flavour. It's about amazing ingredients all put together. But that is a bit wicked. One for you, one for me. Easy as that.
I like that.
There you have it. Chef?
I love coming here.
You love coming.
I love coming here.
What whiskey in the morning and...
What's the time? Yeah, perfect.
Exactly, yes.
Oh, yours is bigger than mine. Oh, my Lord. Can I pour this on top?
It's amazing, isn't it? The flavours that you get from it. Now, I've incorporated a little bit of the whiskey with this, a little bit of the cream liqueur with this as well, but I think it works pretty good.
Yorkshire tiramisu.
Well, that's how we're gonna get away with it. There we go. Right, Richard will be showing us how to make the perfect stollen a little bit later, and I'll be catching up with our very own Denise van Outen very shortly. I say very own, she's here every Christmas. I love it when she turns up at the house. But don't go anywhere, because after the break, I'm taking a final food adventure to the stunning setting of Shetland, a very special place. You're going to love it. I'll see you soon. See you after the break. Welcome back. Somebody's still enjoying their Yorkshire cream whiskey, whatever we're going to call it. Right, there's a masterclass in Scampi coming your way a little bit later, and we'll be welcoming Denise van Outen to the house again very shortly. And it's time now to take a look back at one of my favourite ever food adventures. This week, I'm meeting some incredible volunteers who are bringing the local community together over tea and cake as my travels take me around the UK and end in Shetland. Have you been to Shetland?
No.
Shetland is amazing. It's one of the most beautiful parts of the world, apart from France, of course. But anyway, check this out. Right, you're clearly not Mary. You must be Mary. Nice to meet you. No, it's really busy out here. Is this like this every Sunday?
You never quite know with Maltese what it's going to be like.
But you've got plenty of food. I mean, people are bringing this stuff in their cars. They're carrying it in.
And it's
fantastic.
all voluntary. It's a great way through the summer of making money for whatever cause you're trying to raise some money for. So, for instance, today it's all going towards the hall upkeep, so it'll be to our hall funds.
So I mean, you've got soup literally all over the place in here.
Yeah, we've got 4 different kinds of soup today.
Okay.
This is roasted mutton. Do you know about roasted mutton?
Roasted mutton? Is that the salted mutton?
That's the salted mutton. So mutton that's been soaked in brine and then dried. In the olden days, it would have been hung up above your fireplace, so it would have the smoky flavour from the peat or whatever you're burning.
So what have you got? This smells lovely. What have you got in here, then?
So today you're getting potato soup with a difference. This is carrots and swede and leeks. That's put in on the broth that you've cooked the meat in.
Okay.
And then we shredded the meat, and we're going to add that to that. And I think we'll just add that.
So you always add it at the last minute, do you?
Well, yes, because this is cooked. So
See, this dialect that you have over here.
Speaking about dialect, we got
I've got a present.
that. You've got a present. So.
Well, so what have we got
So
here?
the first one you've got on there is Black Phantom. Now, if you're hungry, then you're Phantom. But if you're really, really hungry, then you're Black Phantom.
You're Black Phantom. I'm always Black Phantom, me. Right. What's a brunny? What's
a brunny?
Brunny.
A brunny is a type of like a bannock or whatever.
And what about privy?
And again, if we leave the soup long enough and it's all going to get dry and all congealed, then you would say it's sturken.
Okay, so we need to go before it gets stuck.
You do. It's going to get sturken.
Right, let's off. We're off. Happy with that? I love this. If this doesn't show you the sense of community in a place, nothing will. Literally nothing will. Can you get a photo? Yeah, it's fine. 10 quid though, yeah? It's to raise money for the hall.
Okay.
Thank you.
So this goes on all afternoon then, does
This
it?
will go on all afternoon.
Brilliant.
Yes.
And how do people find out about it? I mean, it's here every Sunday, or
No, we do them maybe 5 or 6 times a year, probably.
Right, okay.
But you just put it in the local press and again, social media.
So if there's not the one this week somewhere, there's one somewhere else.
There's
Yeah.
usually one every week somewhere in the island.
Brilliant. How are you then, guys?
Well, that's fine.
I saw you in the queue.
Thank you.
It's very busy.
You look much taller here than you do in television.
You're supposed to say slimmer.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Slimmer's the one. Slimmer's the one. And somebody told me that you're... This little birdie... Was it you that into amateur dramatics, is it?
Oh, yeah.
Actress.
Yes.
Yeah, I've been told to watch you.
Yeah.
If there's one trouble in the village hall, it's you. Is that right?
It's kind of unique, this, isn't it? This.
I've never seen... I mean, it's unique. It must be unique to island life, really, because,
Yeah.
you know, you're a relatively small community, but the best way to bring everybody together.
Oh, it's definitely.
Well, I suppose the best thing as well is if you are on your own in a house,
Absolutely, yeah.
it gives you something to look forward to as well. You know.
That's right.
Oh, definitely.
You don't have to plan on eating the snake, do you?
Yeah.
You just come.
And then it saves us making Sunday dinner.
Saves you making Sunday dinner. What a fantastic idea this is. Still people keep coming. People keep going, more food keeps arriving. It's just the hub of the community. I love it, absolutely love it. Now I'm off to the beach to meet some more locals. Just look at this place. Just look at this. How beautiful is it here? Absolutely stunning. And I thought I'd do a dish that really reflects the whole place, the whole vista. And I thought I'd use all the great sort of seafood from around here and do a little dish from Spain. Sounds really weird, but I'm going to do a wonderful little paella because they do a lot of sharing food over here, as we all know. So the most important bit with paella, really, is the pan and the rice. The pan must be a paella pan. The reason for that, it's thin, it cooks nice and evenly, it basically absorbs nice and evenly and allows it to cook nice and evenly. That's why you want a paella pan. The other most important bit with paella is the rice. It must be Spanish short grain rice. It absorbs all the nice flavours that you're going to put in there. So the first thing we're going to do is put our pan on the heat. It starts off with some onion, and I'm just going to chop the onion through. You can dice this up nice and small if you want. Now, if the table moves, it doesn't matter, because the kind people here actually made this table for me. Look, it's a door. Or it used to be. The pan's getting nice and hot. A little bit of garlic. This onion and the garlic, of course, come from those amazing people at that allotment. I don't bang this too much. It's safe. Bit of garlic, we'll just chop that through. And then what I'm going to do is add some oil to the pan and start to colour our chicken thighs, because classically, paella wouldn't have fish in it, really. If you ask the people of Spain, it would have chicken and rabbit with the addition of snails. While that's happening, we can start to cook our onions and our garlic in our pan as well. So you want a little bit of colour on the chicken. Not colouring the onions too much. That's pretty good. Also from that allotment, I've grabbed some herbs as well. I've got some oregano, I've got some marjoram, beautiful fresh thyme as well. Just chop that through, add that to our pan also. And we just sprinkle the rice over the top. Now, unlike a risotto, this is the only time where you stir it, because the minute you add the liquid, stirring is forbidden, literally forbidden, because you get a crust on the bottom. It's not burnt, it's a crust. And that crust on the bottom of the pan is highly prized. Now, I learnt this from a paella master over in Valencia, so I'm trying to replicate it in Shetland. Then we can add our tomatoes, chop up the tomatoes, so they're going to break down while it cooks. Just look at that. And then, once we get to that stage, you can add the stock for this one. Now, I'm going to use water for this, but classically, people like to use a little bit of stock, some chicken stock, bit of fish stock. And then you get the flavouring and the colour from either two things. You can use saffron, but this is the key. Smoked paprika. And you get two different types. This is a sweet one, or you get a hot one. This one is the sweet one. What you do now is leave it. You just leave it. Now, I did say on this journey that, of course, Yorkshire was God's own country, but I think we've just been top trumped. I really do. Wonder if that house is for sale. Needs a bit of work. You see, it takes a little bit of time to make it properly, but that is what we're looking for. Just gently cooking away nicely. And when we get to that stage, now we can start to add our fish. We can season it. Black pepper, some salt over the top. And if it starts to get a little bit dry, you can add a touch of water. Just a little bit. But you're going to get a little bit of liquor out of the seafood that's going to go in there as well. And what a selection of seafood that this place has to offer. You've got amazing monkfish. We've got beautiful mussels. We've got amazing scallops. Look at these. And you can put whatever you want in there. It's entirely up to you. Now, normally when I'm doing this in somewhere like Whitby, I'm dodging seagulls. Not here. We've got a nice little bit of monkfish. Now, it's got a little bit of sinew on this, so what you've got to do is remove that sinew. Otherwise, it just toughens up in the pan. And then we can chop our monkfish up into nuggets. But look at the monkfish. Beautiful piece of meat. Then you can see our paella just cooking away nicely. And then this is where we can add our monkfish. We can then take our prawns. And then we've got our beautiful scallops. Look at these. Amazing. Just pop these on as well. And then mussels. Fresh mussels. Over the top. Then tin foil. And just pop this over the top. And then we leave this to cook now for about 10 minutes. That's all you need, just 10 minutes. Cut to the shot of the fishing boat. Bit of parsley. Enjoy that. My Shetland-inspired paella on a beach. Who needs seagulls when you've got these gannets? I mean crew. It is amazing, Shetland. And one of the things that fascinates about it, it hurts your eyes because the light is so pure.
Fresh air,
honestly,
clear water.
It's incredible. Yeah. It's absolutely incredible. The food there is spectacular as well as the people. It's beautiful.
Go fishing there one day.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. It's a long way to go, mind. This chap will be treating us to a recipe for stollen very shortly, and Chef Daniel Clifford will be firing up the stoves a little later on this morning. But I'll see you after the break when I'm treating Denise van Outen to a prawn and salmon toast with ponzu dressing. Very simple, like you get prawn toast from the restaurant. just make them at home. It's easy. Anyway, I'll see you after the break. Welcome back. Now, coming up, we've got another mouth-watering recipes from Mr. Top Baker, who's sat with us now, with Richard Burtonay, and Joe Swash will be dropping by the house very shortly. But first, I'm joined by an actress whose career has taken her from the old Ford Locks to Albert Square to the West End to Broadway. It's the Christmas wouldn't be Christmas in my house without the brilliant Denise Brown.
You know what? It's like I'm the elf on the shelf, isn't it? I turn up every year.
Yeah, we sort of dust you off and you're there. But welcome. Cheers. Happy Christmas to you.
Oh,
You're
Merry
an absolute
Christmas.
superstar. And can I just say, we get many guests on the show, and I've been doing Saturday mornings for 15 years now. And always they've got their here to promote bits and pieces. You're here because you wanted to be here. Nothing to promote, nothing.
Nothing to promote. I'm just very hungry, James.
So I've got no idea what we're going to talk about other than prawn toast, really. So we're going to do prawn toast, which is prawn toast, really simple to make. Anybody can do this. It's really easy. Prawns, egg white, that's it to make prawn toast. Salt, pepper, you can put a little bit of soy in there, we got a little bit of lime and bits and pieces. We can glam it up as well as you want, but that's fundamentally it on white sliced bread. So all you've got to do with prawn toast is you take your prawns...
They're
like
big
that.
prawns.
Well,
so
they're big prawns. You can do little prawns as well if you want, but you
Okay.
just chuck your prawns in like that, and you can do this with any fish. I mean, I'm doing it...
You've
doing it
lost
with...
a couple of prawns.
That's all right, they're going in. Better pick them up, otherwise the Christmas tree will stink tomorrow, but they'll go in here. And then we take an egg white, like that. So you don't want the yolk. There we go. You take the egg white, and then we're just going to blend it up. Now, the seasoning-wise, you can put a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, but that's it. That's prawn toast. Like that. But I do want to talk to you, and the people are going to be tuning in now and thinking, right, he's going to... jobs and everything else. I want to talk to you about your early career because I find it absolutely fascinating, your early career, because you're an amazing school as well. You went to this amazing...
Sylvia Young.
I mean, a lot of people talk about it, but the people that were on it, with Joe's on as well on the show, but he's gone to an amazing school, but Sylvia Young, this was the stage school.
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing. When I first went, there was only 150 pupils in the whole school. That's from primary right through to senior, so the classes were tiny, and you had a real mix of talent. You had quite a lot of pupils there that were on grants because they were just extra talented, so they were given a grant to go. You know, there was a lot of drive in that school. I mean, it's huge now, and, you know, it's hard to get into now. It's like all of a sudden it became so big because of the amount of talent.
Well, it became big because the likes of yourselves, and I mean, just give us a few of the people that were in that stage school, because, I mean,
it's a lot, the names. I mean, Billy Piper, Rita Ora, the late Amy Winehouse went to the school, Samantha Womack, the All Saints girls, Nat, Nick, Mel Appleton and Mel Blatt, who are friends of mine. They went there, Emma Bunton from the Spice Girls. I mean, the list just goes on.
But when you were in that school, was that a thing you were all sat there waiting for the phone call? It must have been like... Because it was like a conveyor belt, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think the thing is that where Sylvia was just brilliant is that she just wanted us all out to, you know, to work and just get a real taste of what we wanted to do. So by the time I left school, I already had this brilliant CV, which then obviously when I was going into future work, you know, I had already had a lot of experience, which meant that I stood a better chance of getting the jobs, and that's applied for all of us, which is why I think all of our careers have kind of... You know, we've gone on to carry on performing and being quite fortunate as well with our careers to continue working.
But it's not... I mean, when you're doing that... But West End for you came... Was it... What the first thing was? Was it Les Mis for you, or...?
Yeah, so when I was a kid, when I was 11...
When you were 11 years old?
I did Les Mis when it first opened in the first year. And, I mean,
it was on stage?
Oh, it was amazing. I absolutely loved it. And the thing is, to get the part... Because when you audition as a child actor... especially for that show, they'd measure you. So sometimes it wasn't even about talent. You'd had to be the right height. You had to fit the clothes.
Because I know you. You told a little Porky. Well, you not told a little Porky, but yeah, it was height.
Yeah, so there was a height restriction to play the young girl in it. So
we couldn't get away with this.
Right, so I went for my first audition, then you get recalled, so you get called back a couple of times, and they'd whittle it down to, like, a couple of you. And so for my final audition, I'd had a growth spurt. So when I went for my audition, I bought this long floral dress, and I did the whole recall with my knees bent under this dress. And then my mum was watching me and she was like, and they were going to me, she's great, it's fabulous, and measured me and said she hasn't grown at all. In fact, I think I was shorter than the first audition. And they said, you've got the part. And my mum was like, what are you going to do? Yeah, well, with my knees bent under this long skirt. Oh, yeah. So that's why I'm called Denise. See? Hey!
Christmas cracker.
So, yeah, I did the whole audition with my knees bent, got the part, and then my mum said, that's fine, because that's just like a 2-minute audition, but now you've got to do a whole run in the West End with your knees bent. But I've got to be honest, for me, when I went for auditions, it was, you know, I had to get the jobs. Because there wasn't that many people going for them, and it wasn't like it is now. It wasn't a saturated industry of performing kids.
Right.
And I had to go, because I went to a private school. I used the money that I made from the jobs that I got to fund my school fees. So when I went for an audition, if I had to get the job, because I knew that the chances were if I didn't get the job, I'd have to leave the school. Because I don't come from, like a lot of the kids there, none of us really came from wealthy backgrounds. We were just kids that just wanted to... I mean, Joe will tell you the same story for his experience. We were just kids that wanted to focus and had a love for performing.
And you, I mean, you managed to do... I mean, we were supposed to talk about your work, really, but you managed to do so many things in your career as well. But I've got to mention Broadway, because... being able to do West End is one thing. I mean, huge parts for you. Because before I met you, I did come to see you.
Oh, did you?
Chicago.
Yeah, and? Was all right?
It's fantastic, because I'd seen it...
Actually, said you were rubbish.
No, you were brilliant, because this is...
Your knees was bent.
Yeah.
To prove this, I went to see it, first of all, there was a lady called Outen.
Yes.
You can explain who Outen was?
Yeah, Outen's the most incredible performer. So they started it. So I was the first sort of telly, I guess, face celebrity, if you're going to use that word, to go into that show. And because it was a bit of a hit at the box office, having somebody, you know, that was from TV, that then became the thing. So after me, they always cast for those roles a person with, you know, a little bit of profile just to help boost ticket sales.
But doing stuff like that, I always think that when you got something as iconic as the part that she played, I did come see you and I think, really, is it? But I mean, you absolutely nailed it.
Thank you.
But it must have been incredibly tough gig to do, or was it...
It was, because I had to do an audition for it, and I had to audition like every other actor auditions for a show. I wasn't given special treatment just because I was, you know, Denise off the telly. It was.
I don't suppose you can with something like that, because it has to be about the part. It's got to be about. Yeah. You can't have the ability to change your part, is it?
Yeah.
You've got to sort of fit in.
So exposed doing theatre, and also it's the stamina of doing 8 shows a week, every day, and keeping the performance to a level that, you know, will please an audience, especially when they paid all that money to go and see a show. Yeah. And when I was in New York on Broadway, I was doing 10 shows a week. You know, when you were at that drama school and you're doing bits and pieces, do you look back at it and when you're writing a book, is it everything you thought it would be? Yeah, because a lot of people, when you go into this, and it's something that you really, really want, and the reality of it is a different thing altogether. Because, you know, you've done Broadway, you've been all over the place. You know, you've done so many different things. We talked about Big Breakfast, we've done so many different things. There's so many things in your life. It's busy. Yeah, but it has been busy. It has been busy. But you look back and you think, this is everything that I thought it would be? Yeah, I mean, there's, you know, like with anything, I throw myself into different things and different situations. I like a challenge, and sometimes it pays off and sometimes it doesn't. So
that's life, isn't it?
Yeah, and it is, and you kind of look back and you go, all those things happen for a reason to get you to a certain place. Yeah. Even jobs that I, you know, auditioned for at the time, and I'd be so upset because I'd get a call saying you haven't got the part.
But you get something better.
Something else, or just something that was more suited to me, or, you know, or I made a friend on that job for life. That I think that's the reason why I was supposed to do that. Well, now, of course, you got into golf and DJing, I believe, now. DJing's a big passion of yours. Oh, I love it. So, James, you know what I'm like. So, every time I go through a breakup, I either take up a new hobby and then I end up back here for something to eat. It's true. Because I think I'm cooking myself again. So, James will feed me. But no, last time I went through, when I broke up with my daughter's father, I took up golf, and then I had another breakup, last year. So I thought, right, I need to throw myself into something. I had a set of decks at home that I'd never touched, and I just thought, I'm just going to get on the decks and have a practice. And then I realised, because obviously I'm musical, that it came to me quite easily. And then I got my first gig was the Isle of Wight festival, which was a bit daunting.
Big one.
I know, and I was like, oh, this is actually a bit scary. And then I thought, you've just got to go for it. And I loved it, and just seeing, it's a great feeling when you DJ, because you've got them in the palm of your hand, you know, and you take them on this musical journey. And I know it's really cliche, but just to see them all, you know, dancing and their spirits lifted with the music, it's a lovely feeling.
Well, Denise, it wouldn't be Christmas without you in the house, so very best of luck with everything. You've got to stick around for the next dish as well. We're cooking with Joe a little bit later, but there we have our nice little prawn toast. Wow. That's a little bit of this ponzu. You can buy it, it's already mixed, but this is the nice little bit of chilli, sweet and sour dressing that goes with it. A little bit of lime juice, that's all you need. Easy as that. Fantastic. Prawn toast.
Lovely.
I never thought I'd see the day when Richard Burtonay eats white sliced UK bread.
I
But here
do
we go.
secret.
Here we go. We'll edit a little bit out. Go on then. So they're the prawn ones.
Right.
They're the salmon ones. Dunk it in there or dunk it in there.
OK,
but
I'm
that's
going
how they
prawn
taste.
first.
Yeah, dunk
Think.
away.
OK.
It's tasty as.
Oh, wow.
Good.
That dressing is amazing on it. It's so good.
There you go. There'll be more from these two, actually, later on this morning. I'll be serving up some smoky arbroath croquettes for Joe Swash very shortly. But join us again after the break with the incredibly talented baker. This fellow over here, Richard Burtonay, will be showing us what to do with this. I see Christmas Stollen is going to be doing that. I'll see you in a minute. See you after the break.
Oh, that dressing.
Welcome back. Now, Joe Swash will be stopping by for a Christmas Eve lunch very shortly, and we've got more cooking on the way from Mr. Daniel Clifford in just a bit. But first, all the way from Brittany, via Bath, comes a good friend of mine, and the show just happens to be one of the greatest bakers on the planet. Smitted Richard Burtonay. Now, the croissant that you did, that went massive. It went global. Everybody loved it. Tell us about this stollen then, because I've always intrigued how to make a stollen.
I know. Stollen, it's one of those things when I arrived in England. I tried stollen. In France, stollen is not that big, but in England, it was quite big. And I didn't like it.
Because sometimes it's quite heavy.
Exactly. It's dry, heavy, and everything. So there must be a way of doing a good stollen, because the combination of fruit, dough, and almond and everything must be good. Okay. So I think, following from last time when I came with the almond cream.
Right.
So I use almond cream in mine, plus marzipan, and then a
so
beautiful...
you get a double whammy of almonds.
We got proper almond, but no almond essence and no almond...
OK, so that's what I'm going to make. I'm going to make the little frangipane. So explain to us how to make the dough.
So I'm going to make some sweet dough there. The sweet dough is made with a mixture of full fat milk, a bit of butter, salt, sugar, fresh yeast or dried yeast if you have, some eggs and salt. I said that already. And the dough is made already. And I just need to add some fruit to this. So in here I have my sultanas, some mixed peel. I got some flaked almond. You can have toasted or not. Some glassed cherries.
Yeah.
And again, you can put more or less of the other one you want. The magic touch, a touch of... I love your rum, so... so you run for this, and run for this.
So that's the improvement, is it?
Absolutely. A bit of rum in there, not too much. Okay. And then we're going to blend all this together.
I'll lose this out of the way. That's all right. That's that out of the way.
And what we're going to do is to add all this fruit now into that dough.
Now, you do your frangipane slightly different to a lot of people. You whip up the butter first.
Yes.
Then add half the sugar.
So now the butter has changed colour a bit.
Yeah.
That's perfect. So you put your sugar now slowly on top.
Yeah.
Just add it on, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
I'm going to mix my dough in here.
Right, that's going in
all
there.
my fruit now are binding into the dough.
Yeah.
I'm going to take this off and just finish it up by hand a little bit. I love that part. The smell already is crazy.
What is it about the French and their love of baking? Because I know the Brits now like it, but what a history of France has of baking.
I think it's... Well, we always talk about bread and the rest of my coming here, but I think bread is celebrated every day. You know, it's not taken for granted ever. It's not something you buy in a packet and go home. So bread is something you eat. You you love eating, you love sharing. And I think like a good brioche, now brioche is like every day in England. A brioche on Sunday or on special occasion was always marvellous.
Yeah.
So,
So once you've got this in, you treat it quite delicately, yeah?
I'm just mixing, make sure everything is mixed properly. I don't want to overmix it in a mixer. So that's my dough now is perfect. So that's all nice together. Tiny bit of flour.
So I know you want a little bit of space, so I'm going to lose this machine out of the way for you.
That'd be great, thank you.
So get rid of that.
Yeah, I always take a little space when I work.
It's all right. We can handle that. It's all right. It's fine. Now I'm actually going to. So when you came over to the UK, you kind of imagined, you know, having your cookery school now and baking beyond that. I mean, it's really taken a, thanks to a TV program, but it's gone crazy, hasn't it? Really now, the people's love of it.
I think a lot of good basic job have taken over. Like butchers, fishmongers, fermentation. I mean, whiskey. We talk about whiskey. To understand our land and to understand the grain and everything, and to make the most out of it. We understand a lot more now. So I think all those basic jobs which were there many years ago have come back to fashion. But it's not fashion, it's normal life. So
it comes about respecting the producers that produce it. That's the thing.
Exactly. So I think it's phenomenal. When I came in England, you know, you had a handful of chefs who were training all those young chefs who became top chefs who trained more chefs. So it cascaded all the way down.
Yeah.
But
I'm sure somebody's going to do a family tree of chefs at some point.
That'd be amazing,
because we crossed our paths when we were training.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's quite unusual, this sort of job, but
it's. My first job when I came in England, I went to a supermarket called Safeway. Do you remember Safeway?
Yeah.
It's closed now, so I don't care. So I went there, I applied for a job as a baker, and the guy came out. He looked like a cricket umpire, and he said I was not qualified enough to be a baker. I looked at him and said, "Really?" I look at the bread like that, you know, I walk away from it. It's just insane, you know. But the world of bakery.
their loss is our gain.
Right, so right. But you know, the world of bakery has changed so much since.
So you let this prove up.
The dough's been rested.
Okay.
Now, proving is after you shape and do everything.
Okay.
So we're going to just make it very simple.
So people are watching this going, tell us about your cook school then, because where is it?
So the school is in Bath, beautiful Bath. I've been there.
What took you to Bath? Was that the rugby that took you over there?
Yeah, of course.
Is it?
No, but I think I love rugby, and my boys play rugby, you know, and Bath is like Toulouse in France, you know. It's we love our rugby there, but also.
Hey, have you been to Bolton around there?
Bolton.
Wigan.
Oh yeah.
Right, that's you're in a different place altogether.
Different league there.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it's a different league. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, I know it's nice.
It's still the love of the game, though. That's the thing I always think.
Absolutely. And do you put rum in there?
Rum's in there. I knew you would want. I knew he wanted more rum. Come on.
Yeah, that might do.
Hey, it's all right.
You're from Yorkshire, aren't you?
Well, it's from my cellar, actually. That's the reason why I'm using it a little bit.
That's better.
That's better. I've got it. All right.
Thank you.
Fair enough.
So, I'm going to put a tiny bit of... That's why I don't like the stuff to be dry. So I just always put a tiny bit of a tiny bit. You know.
Would they use with frangipane in Solon, or is it? I thought it was just marzipan.
No.
That's probably the reason why, isn't it?
Yeah. So this keep everything nice and moist.
And what's the traditional thing that you have in France at Christmas time? What would be the
bûche de Noël? That's the classic. You know, it's there's so many ways of doing it, but crème au beurre and good genoise with it. You know, was always a very classic one.
Yeah.
But a good brioche. I remember a fruited brioche, kind of equivalent of panettone or something. It was always for on Christmas Day or as breakfast, special treat. So that was nice. So
well, I'm going to announce a special treat. I'm going to, if you don't mind, can I come down and do a cookery course with you? Can I do a cookery course with you down at your cookery school? Done.
Fantastic. We sorted.
Yeah.
You're always welcome.
There you go. Right.
We bring the crew as well if they behave.
No, we leave the crew. No. Yeah. The crew are busy. No.
Are they?
Yeah, way too busy for that.
Okay, so if you can do the last one, I'm going to get my tray ready now.
Right. So you want that in there.
Yeah. And the trick with this one is to...
Right, so is there a trick in folding it, or what?
Yeah, sort of. I mean, you just fold it a bit like this.
Right.
Fold it there.
Okay.
And then fold this one over the top. Like this.
So over.
Yeah. So I could make 2 of them, you can make 4 of them, you can make as small or as big as you want. And bring the edge back in the center.
Okay, this is keep the filling all inside.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then seal the 2 edges together, like this. That's good. Perfect. Like this.
I presume you've got to have a little gap between the...
Yeah, leave it.
Look at that, how are you doing that? See, pastry for 35 years, I never realised you did that with that.
And
Look at that.
Crack on
Sorry,
with it.
Seth, sorry. Sorry. There's no such thing as work for your supper. So fold this over.
And then seal it.
So you've got a double whammy of the
But the almond cream will
almonds.
keep everything nice and moist inside.
Yeah.
So that's the beauty of it. And the dough is so light, it grows quite well. And put
I'm
this on
loving
it.
the way how you've done that paper.
There you go. And this will proof now. We're going to let this proof for about 45 minutes to 1 hour, at least, depending on...
Do you need to cover it or not? Is that the...
Yes,
that
what
the
I
key
do
to-
is you put a cloth on top or another greaseproof paper, some cling film on top, or a big plastic bag is even better.
Right.
Make sure there's no draft and take your time. And then you end up with those beautiful...
I'll have those, because that's my for my supper tomorrow. That'll be that one.
Here we go. So look at those babies now.
But like you said, so much different. So I think a lot of people... For me, Stollen was always a bit too heavy. We mentioned the fact it's a bit cakey. It was not...
They last for 6 months. No, mine lasts for 2 minutes.
You're liking that.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
You're liking that, yeah.
So how do you work your stove there, James? Can you have that butter nice and hot? And then we're going to bath them inside. And then we get some icing sugar. So it's a 2-man job, this one.
Right, so what am I? Am I icing sugar duty or what?
The Iceman.
Am I icing? OK. Am I icing? There you go. Happy with that? Tell me when you're ready.
Yeah. Yeah, we're good. We're good.
So it's warm butter.
Warm butter.
Get in.
The whole point of Christmas is showing up. So I'm going
Can you come back every Christmas?
Yeah.
Even though if you're not filming anymore and the show doesn't get commissioned, can you just come back every Christmas and we'll just
You cook, I bake.
That's fine.
Yeah.
We'll do it. Fine.
Okay, so
Love this.
we're going to do this now. We're going to do it.
All right.
Fantastic. So I got some wax pepper in here.
Yeah.
That's, if you want to keep them for a long time, they freeze very well. You can give them as present like this. But the key now is to get one of them, and then pour in, and just dip it in,
I'm doing that bit. Dip it in. You're the ice. Right. Okay. Dip it in.
both sides. Press it gently so you can feel the butter going in. Good.
Like that.
Yeah. And then put it on top of this. Good, good, good. Hang on. Patience. That's my version of the perfect Stollen. You like it, don't you?
That's just. How good. People are going to wake up in the morning so disappointed. God, this rock hard thing. Go on.
No, it won't be.
Go on.
Here we go. So hang on.
Look at this. How good is that? Look. Roll it again. And how long would these keep for? On a serious note, how long do you keep these for? I see you can freeze them, but if you,
Yeah, I mean,
they're not going to last very long. But
when you open it and you slice it, it's like kind of good food, like a Dauphino on the side of your kitchen. You have a bite of it and you want some more and you can't stop. So it's very Moorish. It's so good for you. So I wrap it in wax pepper, so I'll protect it. And then a bit of this and wrap it around.
loving this. And you kindly brought along the mince pies as well. What's different about your mince pies, or are they classical mince pies? What do you do differently?
I remember the first time I had my mince pie over in England. I thought, what the is this? I didn't like it. It was like too much pastry or too much filling. So I thought the frangipane is an amazing thing. So we made the sweet pastry, mince meat, and then we put a bit of almond cream on top and flaked almond. But we used to make thousands and thousands of them. It's we won many prizes for them because they are so different.
They are very, very different. So before we just finish this off, I've just got to take a little slice of this Stollen just so
Yeah,
you can
go
see
for it.
what it's. See what it's
go
like
for this one, yeah.
I'm going to go for this one. Is that right? So
Yeah, go for it.
take a slice of this so people can see what it's like.
I'll go for the middle bit.
Yeah.
The end bit is like...
Yes, chef. All right.
It's good, isn't it?
It's good, isn't it? It's good, isn't it? I love how the modesty of it as well. But there we have it. I did say at the beginning of this, he is one of the best bakers in the world, and this shows as well. Ladies and gentlemen, the fabulous Richard Burton.
There you go.
Happy Christmas. Thank you very much. Go on, I'll let you have a taste as well. Go on, let's grab a taste, grab a bit. But...
I'm on diet.
Yeah, right. It's amazing, huh? It's amazing, though, isn't it?
It's magic.
It's a Frenchman does Stollen. It's just, well, everything about it. Butter, the fruit. But most importantly, I think with anything, moisture.
It's not heavy.
Yeah.
It's satisfying.
Richard Burton, everybody. Right, I'll be showing you how to make scampi in this week's Little Masterclass, and we've got another mind-blowing dessert on its way from Chef Daniel Clifford a little bit later. But join me again after the break, where I'll be serving up croquettes for actor, presenter, and now wannabe chef. Yes, he's got a cookbook out as well. It's Joe Swash will be here. I'll see you after the break. This is amazing. This is amazing. Welcome back. Now, this week's masterclass is all about scampi, and we've got more fantastic food on the way from Chef Daniel Clifford a little bit later on this Christmas Eve. But first, I'm here with an actor, a presenter, who's been crowned the King of the Jungle, won Dancing on Ice, and was a three-course meal away from being crowned Master Chef champion. He failed to call me up, otherwise it may be 3 in a row. It's the brilliant Joe Swash!
Thanks, everyone.
Did you get a phone call?
Oh, God, I didn't know it was an option.
You didn't go. That was
Didn't know it was an option.
It's always an option.
Oh,
it's
gutted.
always an option. Anyway, so you're a big foodie. We're going to get onto that in a minute as well. So I thought I'd show you a little sort of tapasy sort of thing. This is kind of Yorkshire meets Scotland meets Spanish tapas.
Right.
We're going to start off with what's in front of us here, because I know you've got your eye on these things.
Yeah.
You've never seen these before. These are amazing. These are our broth smokies.
OK.
You can buy them online. They're absolutely fantastic. They come in pairs like this. They're beautiful. They're hot smoked haddock.
So you would say that they're smoked in a different way?
Yeah, they're cured. So they're not cured like a smoked salmon would be cured, because that's cold smoked, and cured is in a way that you can eat it raw. These are cured in a way, it's a wet cure, and then what they do is they hot smoke them. But these, you just want to just wrap up. You can just wrap up like this. Don't need to be too fancy.
That's how I do my Christmas presents.
Exactly.
Stacey goes mad.
A little bit of sellotape round it. You're done. Put that in there.
Yeah.
That is your Christmas
There
present.
you go, Stace.
There you go. There you go. That goes in here. We're just going to warm these up. Now, I'm going to make a little sauce. Classically, this is like the little croquettes, really. So butter, flour, a little bit of water. You can use milk, smoked paprika, and then I'm going to add some of this smoked haddock to it as well.
Brilliant.
But first of all, congratulations on everything you've done, because looking back at your career, you know, you're not the easiest of rides all the way through your career, have you, really?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's one of those things. Growing up, it was difficult growing up, you know. My dad passed away when we were kids, you know, it was just me, my mum and my sisters. So my mum had to sort of go to work, because my dad was always the breadwinner. So my mum done lots of cleaning jobs. So I remember being...
But they were grafters. You know, both of your family were grafters.
Yeah, but I do remember being very protective over my mum, thinking, you know, when you lose one parent, you tend to get very protective over the other one. So I'd go to work with her in the evenings when she was doing her cleaning and stuff. But my mum was very good friends with Linda Robson, and she went to a place called Anna Shares, which was it was a drama school, but for working class kids. So it was like £1.50 a lesson.
Love this.
Most of EastEnders went there, so we had like Natalie Cassidy was in my class, played Sonia. So there was so many of us that all went through the ranks, and thankfully, you know, we're still doing what we love.
You are doing what you're doing. Yeah. So I'm just going to recap what we're going here. So this is the roux that we were talking about. So this has got this. You can use it with water or milk, and then I've just put smoked paprika in here. You can do this as hot or cold.
Yeah.
But I'm going to take some of our broiled smokies. Now, classically, this would be done with salt cod.
Is that in Spain now? Do it?
Yeah.
In salt cod?
But these are these amazing sort of our broiled smokies. So how did you get involved in EastEnders? Because that's quite a nice little story, how you got involved in that, really, because you didn't realise you were going to get it, did you?
Yeah, so I auditioned originally for... do you know the character Alfie Moon? Shane Ritchie's character. I auditioned for his younger brother, and I got down to, like, the last two. And then I didn't get it in the end. But they come back to me about 2 months later and said, we've got this character that's only in it for a couple of episodes. Do you want to do it? And I remember thinking, you know, do I want to hold out for a bigger character? But I'd done it, and then they got me back. They kept getting me back, giving me more episodes, and then...
Because when you're going into this sort of stuff, is it sort of a 6-week, 8-week thing, and you think, you know, I mean, so they're looking at if it doesn't work, they've got to see you on screen first and see what the reaction is from people, because this must be quite difficult for you then, really, isn't it, really? Because everybody going into it must think, well, am I in it for long, or what, am I going to get killed off, or I just disappear, or what?
I think that's why they do it as well, because no one really knows, you know, how long they're going to be there, so you've got to be on your top game, you know, you've got to perform when they ask you to perform. But, yeah, for me, it was just they said, you got 3 weeks, then it went to a month, and then by the end of the year, they brought a family in around me, the Millers. Yeah. And that's when my little sister Shana, she auditioned under a different name, and she got the part. So I had my real sister playing my sister, and then I had my mum chaperoning my sister, so we was all at work together at one point, so it was really nice.
And then, well, I've just got a recap on here. I'm just going to mix all this lot together, and I'm going to put the flour, egg, and breadcrumbs in it, and what's called a pane, really. It's just nice and simple. Mix all this lot together. And then I've got some padron peppers here, which I'm just going to throw in the deep fat fryer. Yeah. Literally straight in. They're going to deep fat fry. We're going to put all those in. But what I want to talk to you about is all the stuff that you've done since then.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a celebrity, doing stuff like that, dancing on ice. Why? What?
You know what? I don't know. So...
Because talk about shows out your comfort zone. Could you skate before then, or not? Because
no, I couldn't skate for toffee. Honestly, I'd done, like, 3 months' worth of training. They give you 3 months' worth of training before the show starts. Right. Every day I must have fallen over 5 or 6 times. I was terrible. Right. But then there's this thing where because I've got the kids at home, you know, I always feel like I want to sort of set a good example, you know? Yeah. And I remember sitting down with Stacey, and Stacey saying to me, I remember saying to Stacey, I think this was a bad idea. I shouldn't have done this. And her saying to me, use it as a way of teaching the boys, you know, throw yourself at it, try and be as good as you can be, and then, you know, then the boys will see that, you know, you put the hard work in, that there's something at the end of it. So I sort of went into it with a different sort of mindset of just trying to learn as much as possible and make the kids proud, so...
And with Stacey, you seem to have found your soulmate.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah, I have. So yeah.
How was that in meeting? Because you're now married now.
You were married now.
Married this year.
We're married this year. Yeah.
Congratulations,
everyone. Cheers.
How was the proposal?
So I always think sometimes that I'm a little
Obviously
bit...
it didn't work then.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes I'm like a living, breathing Norman Wisdom or Frank Spencer. Because things go wrong and then they get worse and worse. So Stacey sort of had an inkling that I was going to get engaged to her, but she thought it was going to be Christmas Day. And I was like, right, I want to kind of like get a surprise in here, so I thought I'd do it Christmas Eve. Stacey's dad's a photographer, so I said to him, right, I'm going to take Stacey into the forest with the boys, and I've got loads of flowers in the forest. And I said, you hide behind a tree, but at a reasonable distance, so don't get in trouble, right? And take some sneaky photos so we can remember it. So we're walking to the forest, and Stacey's dad's got his own number plate with his name on it, D. Solomon. So we walked past her dad's car, and she's gone, why is my dad at the forest? And I'm like, we're walking through the forest, and I can see these kids, and because I've got all these flowers out, these kids are messing about with the flowers, and as we're walking through, I couldn't see Dave, but I could see the kids. I just heard this voice come from the back of a tree going, leave the flowers alone! And then Stacey going, no, my dad's definitely here, and I'm like, no. And then I went, come on, let's go look. And I was like, oh, look, there's some flowers down there. That's nice. Let's go down and have a photo of those with the boys. And she was like, oh, no, let's not. And I was like, come on, let's go down. She was like, no, I think someone might have died down there. And there's the funeral flowers. And I was like, no, come on, let's have a look anyway. But the good thing is she said yes.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think she was very surprised by it. But it's a good story to tell everyone, isn't it?
It is a good story
But
to
no, me
tell.
and Stacey, it's amazing. I met Stacey in Australia when we was doing the jungle. And
now you've got a great family together. So
now we've got a huge family. We've got 5 kids, you know, which has its moments.
Yes.
But we wouldn't change.
It started off well, didn't it? Look.
Yeah.
So look, we've just got our little croquettes over here, which I'm just going to take these and we're going to just very, very quickly deep fat fry these. So nice hot oil. Padron peppers are all in. While they're deep fat frying, tell us about this latest venture that you've got then, because you're venturing onto my patch.
Yeah, sorry, mate. Sorry.
Sunday Times bestseller.
I don't think it'll make a dent in your book sales.
Sunday Times bestseller. So how did this come about? Because of MasterChef, did it? Or cooking at home with the family?
Well, because I've always cooked, James. Always cooked for my kids. But it wasn't until MasterChef, when I'd done MasterChef, that I sort of realised that I've got this real passion for it.
Yeah.
And then they ask you to bring in your own recipes. So they're like, you've got to bring to the table what you're going to be cooking.
Right.
And I sort of realised that all the stuff that I was cooking had such memories from when I was a kid. It was stuff from what my dad used to cook and stuff my mum cooked, and my nans, and what I cooked for Stacey and what Stacey cooks for me. And I just realised that food holds this power where it brings me back to a place, a good place.
Yeah.
A feeling comes back, the smell can bring back a feeling. So, yeah, and when I've done MasterChef, it gave me so much confidence in the kitchen. So I've sort of gone home and just cooked constantly. I love it. And I wanted to do a cookbook, but I also wanted to kind of give the reason why I was doing the cookbook. So I'm very proud of it. I'd love to do another one. And I'd love to kind of explore the cooking world, you know. I'm not a professional cook
Not
like
too
you.
much, John. Not too much, John. You
There's
know.
levels. There's levels. You're on a different level.
You may find a couple of chefs ganging up and sending you back to Australia, to be honest, John. Or you may find a couple of chefs taking you down to the woods for a whole different reason. But anyway.
You might bump into Stacey's house now.
So, right, we've got the little croquettes there with a little bit of... This is a little bit of aioli, so a little bit of saffron, garlic mayonnaise that we've got in there, a little bit of ham, the Pedron peppers.
Yeah.
But just finally, I wanted to bring this out over here,
up.
just to show you what these are like. So, this is your Christmas present.
There you go, Stace.
There you go, Stace. A bit of smoked fish, but the idea is this. You take this now and you just... Look at these, they're hot, but...
Be careful.
But look, you take this and you break this.
Yeah. You're going to chuck some my way?
No, you just put it in there like that.
Do you mind if I chuck a fork in?
You just taste a bit of this.
Is that right?
But you just taste that.
You know what? Talking about food and memories, this brings back memories of my dad. My dad was a London cab driver, and he was quite healthy, done a lot of marathons. And in the morning, he loved smoked mackerel, but he'd put it in the microwave. So every morning you'd wake up to the smell of smoked mackerel. See, that's brought me straight back to
Well, is it amazing? You mentioned food and memories. It's one of those things that, you know, dishes, food, and that's why, I think that's why chefs fall in love with doing what they're doing, because they evoke so many memories. But I'm just going to take a little bit of butter over here, and I know that it's not really a classic Italian tapas, but I think having a combination like that is perfect, particularly when you're in the house. But, ladies and gentlemen, Joe Swash, everybody! Easy as that. Right, Joe, there we have it.
Is this all for me, yeah?
4 new dishes for book 2.
Amazing. I'm sure I can put a
I'll
little
tell
twist
her back,
on
it's
it.
fine. 4 dishes, you can have them. There you go. There you go.
You heard it, Erie, let me use them.
But have a taste of these little croquettes, because this is the sauce with the aioli and...
Oh, that's beautiful. Definitely. That is lovely.
You like that? Mmm. So that can have that. That's page 26.
Can I have that recipe?
You can have that one, exactly. Joe Swash, everybody!
Cheers, everyone.
Right, I'll be serving a second course of steak with the classic Bordelais sauce for Joe and Denise at the end of the show. But after the break, we've got a masterclass in scampi that you do not want to miss. The fry is still on. It's a classic. I'll see you in a minute.
Oh, they're lovely, they are.
Welcome back. Now we're laying on lunch for my guests Joe Swash and Denise van Outen very shortly. But first, it's time for this week's little masterclass. And I don't know about masterclass, but this is about scampi. This is about one of my favourite ingredients in the world, to be honest with you. I think this is one of the greatest things to come out of this country, as well as the Rolling Stones. But how do we make the most amazing scampi? Well, first of all, we can make an amazing batter. And this uses this ingredient over here. Now, this is gluten-free, self-raising flour. This is the key to to a really good batter. A little pinch of salt in there, and I like to use table salt for this, not sea salt, table salt, because it all dissolves in. But this is the stuff. So you want... I class this as, well, when I see this, it's kind of student cider. When I was a young kid, not that young, obviously, but when I was a student, we used to sort of... This was our Friday night, but it wants to be fizzy cider. That's the key to this. So you have a taste of it first. Yeah, brings back memories. Taboo and lemonade, Yahoo, M-People, that kind of stuff. Yeah, Bros. There you go. We mix that together. So you mix that together with the sparkling cider. And you can see from the bubbles, this is, you get this is what you're looking for, really. This will give you the amazing batter. Now, the reason why I'm not rushing for this is that it takes time, but it's very quick to make, if that was what I mean. You want to make sure this batter is right, and it's bubbling away nicely. You can see in there now, look at the bubbles forming, look. It's popping like that. That's what you want. Now, you want the batter not too thick. The most important bit with this is you don't make it too thick. So think of it like a tempura. I'm actually going to do some broccoli as well, so you can use this batter for all manner of different sort of stuff as well. Even leftover Brussels sprouts tomorrow. This batter is ace, crispy fried Brussels sprouts in the batter. So we're just going to move that to one side, then turn our attention to... We'll do our langoustines first. So we take these langoustines. Now, these have been blanched like that, and they've just been peeled. You can buy them like this. You can buy them frozen as well. So don't worry about this. You can look out for them in the freezer section as well. But we take our langoustines, and we want to cook these without the basket. But the fryer is quite hot. That's the key to this. And what we want to do is do these in batches. So these are going to go in. They're going to go in like that. And drop them without the basket, because what will happen with these langoustines, if you don't, they'll all stick together in the basket. So as you drop them in, and don't be frightened to do them in batches. The great thing about this batter, it will hold. So many times with batters, it goes sort of quite soft as well. People have tried beer batters before, and with varying degrees of success. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. The key to this is do them in little batches, and by using this sort of cider batter, it stays lovely and crisp, which is what you want, and then you can just warm them through the oven if you wanted to, but the residual heat over these will be fine. So you can lift these out now, look. And you can see this batter puffs up. You've got this, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. I mean, I know it's Christmas, but this honestly, when I realised I was going to be doing this for you guys on the show, I nearly wet myself, to be honest with you. I love that. I know it's probably too much information that you want to know, but this is where it's at. This people often ask me, what's the last meal on earth you would ever have? It's this. You can take me to Daniel Clifford's restaurant all day long. Well, you can't, because you can't get a table. But this is where it's at. This scampi is the greatest food ever invented. Like that. And what we want to do is just do these in little batches like this. So, there it is. You try and do this in the air fryer, everybody that's going to get one tomorrow. Good luck with that one. I switched on the shopping channel the other day, as you do. I think I'd had too much cider, and I was watching these air fryers. What is that all about? Look at this. Look at this. This is frying. This is frying. Look. You roll them around in here, and the oil needs to be quite hot. That's the key to that. So look. We've got a nice little bit of prawns there, and you can take this batter again, and you can take just things like broccoli. The great thing about sort of purple sprouting broccoli and just this sprouting broccoli over here, you just take the sort of the bigger chunks of the stalks off, pop that in here, like that, And if the batter's lovely and light, which is this is, you can see that, you can then just take the broccoli and this can go in and you just want to deep fry this. So it's kind of like a tempura batter, but a little bit more foolproof with that. So you're just going to pop that in, probably put room for another one in. But whatever you're doing with this, like I said, don't wash the vegetables as well. Make sure they're quite dry, otherwise it's going to spit everywhere. Now, while that's cooking, we're just going to make a little dressing with this. And this is an ace dressing. This uses sort of leftover herbs, and generally people have got leftover bits and pieces, particularly herbs, at Christmas time. So what we're going to do with this, we're going to take the egg yolks, so save the egg whites, of course, because these are great for meringues, bits and pieces, which I've showed you on the show before. Mont Blanc, that kind of stuff, they're amazing to make, but what you're going to do is keep those, don't waste any. Keep the shells as well. Stop your slugs from forming on your garden. Another one. And look, just lift out our... But look at this broccoli. And you can tell, look at that. It's a thing of beauty, look. I know I'm getting excited. I know it's Christmas, but I'm getting excited mainly because of this. This is my food. This is where it's at, look. And you can take that. And then if you wanted scraps, you can just sprinkle it all in. And then use some table salt. So table salt is the key, not sea salt. It's just going to fall off. So table salt. This is the salt that you put on your fish and chips. There we go. That sort of salt. There. I'm going to leave that to one side. Meanwhile, back over to our dressing. I'm going to do two very, very quick and simple dressings with this. A little bit of mustard. So this is just to use stuff that's left over for your herbs and bits and pieces this Christmas. So what you want to do with this is you want to take some vegetable oil, about half a litre vegetable oil, and you just blend whatever herbs you've got left. Coriander, parsley, mint, whatever you want to do. Try not to mix and match, but things like parsley is great, but coriander, stalks, the whole thing go in a blender, and you blend it and blend it and blend it. Now, traditionally when you make mayonnaise, you then gradually pour it in. But to make this mayonnaise, what you do is you take the oil that I made by blending all this, you then blend it for a good sort of 2 or 3 minutes, and you end up with this. You end up with a green oil. You pass it through a sieve. Just let it sit over a sieve for half an hour, something like that, and it drains through. And you get this gorgeous green-coloured oil that's amazing. You see chefs use this for garnishes, bits and pieces, but also it makes the most amazing mayonnaise. So you want to gradually pour in the oil, like you would do with a conventional sort of vegetable oil, and it starts to emulsify. Now, very, very carefully pour this all in. Once you get the hang of this, and you get the hang of how to make it, the flavour you get from doing this is amazing. So keep going now. So you see the colour of this amazing oil. Now, when you blend it, first of all, it sort of looks like pesto, but keep persevering the oil and the herbs. And if it looks like pesto, add more oil. The whole point about it is you're making an oil, you're not making a pesto. You can utilise all the stuff when it's passed through a sieve, still use that because it's great for pasta and bits and pieces, but you want the oil from it as well. Gradually, you see, you pour it in, pour it in, pour it in, pour it in. You end up with this amazing sauce. Like that. And it gets thicker and thicker and thicker. So it gets thicker and thicker and thicker. I'll do that a little bit more so you've got it from here. So gradually we just pour this in. And the more oil you add, the thicker it gets. People think the mayonnaise, the more oil you add, the thinner it gets. It's actually just gets thicker and thicker and thicker. And it produces this amazing mayonnaise, basically. Now, we can flavour this slightly different. If you want to leave it like that's fine. You can add things like lime. It's entirely up to you, but this is another thing I would look out for. So while you're running around for your last-minute Christmas shopping in the supermarket, get some of this. It's called yuzu juice, Y-U-Z-U. You'll find it in the Japanese section in supermarkets, Asian section in the supermarket. This stuff is amazing. This will glam up anything, even glam up turkey this Christmas. This will do a job. You know what I think about turkey. But you just put a little bit of this in there, and it makes it taste incredible, trust me. A little bit of this yuzu juice, Y-U-Z-U, look out for it as well. Touch of salt in there. We can then switch this off. Lift this off. and you've got this amazing, look at this, thick, creamy dressing, which with this is just, I mean, they just want a little bit of lemon in here if you wanted to, but this just takes it, again, a little bit more. If you didn't want to do that, there is another little dressing that you can make, which is, you often see this in the supermarkets now, it's called ponzu. It's so easy to sort of kind of do yourself, really. This is a little bit of soy sauce. So you just take some soy sauce. You can use a little bit of this yuzu juice, which is there. If you can't find this, a little bit of lime. So you just use a little bit of lime zest, like that. Even things like this time of year, satsumas, mandarins, that's going to work really well together. If you can't find the yuzu juice, a little bit of lime, a little bit of satsuma juice as well, mandarin juice. It will get a similar sort of flavour, because that's what that is. It's a cross between sort of a satsuma and a lime, that kind of stuff. Citrusy, orangey notes, that kind of stuff. A little bit of chilli. There we go. Touch of chilli. That will sit in there. And then you can just mix that together with a little bit of oil, just a touch. And then pop that in a little pot. And you've got that as a little dipping dressing, if you wanted to. It's really that simple to make that. And then just to assemble everything up, we've got our little dipping dressing here. Then I'm going to take some of this, because it's ace. And I'm going to do, this was trendy this year, butterboards. I don't do trendy. That's why I refuse to do a butterboard on TV. But a bit of this, and then you can take your lovely langoustine and you can just pile this with your broccoli, that kind of stuff, all on here. This is, I mean, you can hear it as well. Look, listen. You can tell it says crispy. And that's the batter as well. There we go. But there you have it, sort of my version of the ultimate dish. You got your nice little bit crispy fried scampi with a simple little mayonnaise dressing, or you can do the little dipping sauce to go with it. That has got to be one of the ultimate dishes there is. There you have it, done. Now, if there's anything else to learn about in Little Mascus, then do get in touch. We see if we can help out right here on the show. Just gonna have another drink now. Time now for a quick break. But join me again in a couple of minutes when it's your chance to watch one of the finest chefs of the modern era. Mr. Daniel Clifford will be at work on this very stove. I'll see you after the break. Welcome back. Now, I'll be cooking one more final dish next, but first, I'm here with my guests, Joe Swash and Denise Van Outen. But we're here with a chef who's made some of the best dishes I've eaten in 30 years of TV. If I said probably my top 10 favourite dishes by chefs cooked on TV, this gentleman must have probably 5 of them.
Stop it, don't talk about me like that.
This could be... This could be the 6th as well, love this. From Cambridge's Midsummer House, it's Daniel Clifford! Now, that's what you call a pedestal now. Amazing. Don't fall off it.
No, definitely not.
Don't fall off it.
Definitely
what are you going to be doing then? You're brave today.
Yeah, well, I don't know if this... You said Christmas.
Yeah.
I thought oranges, chocolate, that's Christmas to me. So we're going to make a crepe souffle without a crepe. And we make an orange drizzle cake. Right. So a classic sponge. We make it really, really big. And then, we bake it in something as big as this. And then what we do is we freeze it and then we slice it on the meat slicer. So we get thin slices like that. But to start...
You've got lemon drizzle cake frozen on a meat slicer.
Yes.
How about the souffle mix?
Right, so we have egg whites. The best thing about egg whites is they're better when they're out of the fridge. And the older they are, the better meringue you get. Yeah. So we put the egg whites into the machine.
That's because egg whites are split into 2 parts. So if you get a really fresh egg and you fry it, it's 2 parts to it. The older the egg, it spreads.
What I do now is...
And it won't make it ill?
No, it won't make it ill.
So, a pinch of salt to start with, and a little bit of lemon. That just helps bring up the egg white.
Yeah. So next year, well, coming up, you're celebrating 25 years at Midsummer.
25 years, yeah.
Amazing. You can't imagine that, though, can you?
No, I can't. I'll be honest with you. I'm 50 next year, so it's half my life in the same place. Yeah, well, it's...
it's a nice place to be. I think, to be honest with you, the older you get, the more you take away from food, and the simpler it gets. So things taste nice.
But did you think about it? You know, 25 years when you set it all up. Was it?
I didn't think I was going to last 6 months. No, I didn't, because I walked into the restaurant. It needed so much doing, and I'll be honest with you, we started with 2 in the kitchen and 2 in the front, and now I've got 35 staff. So I look at it and I think, this is just crazy. It's grown and grown and grown.
You're constantly evolving. I remember, you know, we were chatting away in lockdown and everything else. I mean, even down you strip the you're constantly busy. You strip the staircase. You were painting it. You were doing it. Well, tell us about these glass things.
I look at the restaurant and I just constantly say to myself, how can I make it better? I want 3 stars. I won't lie about it. I want 3 stars, and I'm constantly asking myself, how are we going to do it? So, egg whites coming up. So this is a panade. So basically, this is orange juice that's been reduced by 3/4, and then we thicken it with corn flour. So I take a good scoop of that, and then this is creme pat. So I take the same amount of that.
Now, you're making creme pat with corn flour, or you're thickening it with flour?
No, the creme pat is made with a classic way where you thicken it with flour, and the panade is done with corn flour. So you get the best of both worlds in this.
So creme pat is like a custard, normal custard you make with eggs. You can have that in your book. Then you put your corn flour in it, or your flour to thicken it. That's the key to it.
Egg whites are whipped. As you can see, they're really nice and shiny. What I do now is I take a small amount of that. Now, people would say normally...
Be gentle.
You be gentle with it, yeah?
Yeah. You're beating it up.
See,
But people are obsessed with that, slowly folding it in. I always think as a pastry chef, you were always told to get it in the oven as quick as possible. So stop messing around with it.
If you watch that, I let it fall through the whisk. Instead of, like, bashing it, what I'm doing is just folding it out.
I can't see there's going to be many people attempting to do souffle on Christmas Day unless
Well,
they're brave.
I'll be honest with you, James, I think it's worth a go because...
It is. You know, I'd done souffle on MasterChef, and I thought it was going to be the most difficult thing to do. But once you sort of know the ins and outs of it, it's not that difficult. And it's the most beautiful thing to see something grow in the oven. It just comes to life. Why are you looking at me like that for? I definitely made a souffle.
I'll leave it.
It wasn't an omelette.
It wasn't a muffin.
No, it was a souffle.
I'll leave it here, you crack on.
No, I talk a good game. I talk a good game.
Right, so now I spray my tray, take some of the lemon drizzle cake.
Yeah. So this spray is just like an oil that you'd just buy
you can buy that in...
It's non-stick oil, but you just...
It's not suntan lotion.
No,
thanks,
I'll put the fake stuff on.
For the Essex tan.
Right, so now this into a piping bag. And then...
There you go. So this is the lemon drizzle cake that we talked about, yeah?
And then what we do...
That you make a cake and then you freeze it and then you slice it on a meat machine. Love this. How many times have you practiced this?
To be honest with you, James, I've made it twice. The sous chef normally does all this bit. I stand there and watch him. And when I said to him, "Oh, we're going to do that," he said, "Do you want me to come?" I said, "Oh, it would be nice." So what we do now is just fold that over.
Oh, look.
Okay.
It's almost
so delicate.
It's almost coming through the...
It's so thin, that cake, though, isn't it? That's the key to it.
That's the key to it. And you can see I'm shaking again.
Yeah, you're shaking like when you were... Claire Smith was cooking. You were cooking for Claire Smith.
We don't talk about that day anymore, do we?
Please tell me about this.
We had Claire Smith. Claire Smith's one of the greatest chefs cooking in the world. She runs a restaurant called Cork. So I didn't tell him that Claire was coming, and I deliberately put Claire here while he was cooking.
Yeah.
He was shaking exactly like this.
Right. It's only out of respect. That's all it is, respect to the nerves. Right, so these go in, so we're going to put them in for 4 minutes.
4 minutes. I'm going to set the time for 2 minutes because we've got to get the ice cream. So 4 minutes. So here we go.
Everything's 4 minutes.
4 minutes. As you said, Joe. Right. Right, now what we're going to do is make a little bit of drizzle. So we're going to do some lemon juice.
Yep.
That's salt. A little bit of sugar. Just bring that up. You don't want to boil that because if you boil it, it won't crystallise. So now just add some sponge to that quickly.
So this is the same sponge that's been really finely diced. That's
Now it's been finely diced. All I want to do is leave that to set. Right. So I'll leave that there. But we bring the plates over.
I love this. Watch the ice cream while somebody's getting it from the freezer, because we normally get it from the freezer because there's a Christmas tree in the way.
Yeah.
So we got to go get it from the freezer.
So
what's in the ice cream that you've done?
So it's a burnt orange ice cream.
Right.
Nice.
Okay.
What's happening now, then?
So we're just waiting for the souffle.
Right,
so
okay.
the souffle's coming.
Now, while we're waiting for the souffle, we're going to do some quick-fire questions, because that's another minute away. So we've got some quick-fire questions over here. These are questions that people have sent in, ready for Christmas. What is your favourite Christmas Day starter?
Smoked salmon.
Can I boil gammon on Christmas Eve and finish it off in the oven Christmas Day?
100%.
That's exactly what I would do. How can I cook multiple different types of vegetables for 18 people stress-free?
Cook the carrots in butter, chicken stock, salt, sugar, thyme, garlic. Cook them.
Where's that book of mine?
Cook them really slowly.
Yep.
With a lid on them. Cook them. Store them in the liquid, in the fridge in the liquid. Reheat them in the liquid, and they're absolutely the best.
Keep repeating with the different types of veg as well.
Exactly.
There we go. We'll bring in the ice cream. There we go. There you go.
Bring them both.
Ice cream's in. I'm going to, while you're sorting this out, how can I... You can have to check that. How can I jazz up Brussels sprouts? We had Brussels sprouts on the show 2 years ago, deep fried, with salt on it. Incredible. There you go.
Me too.
And this is one for you.
Yeah, go on.
I've got a leg of venison, raw venison. What can I do with it?
Keep it in the fridge, keep it cold.
Stick a stocking on it.
Yeah.
Right. Ice cream.
Ice cream.
Just a quick question.
Yeah.
What, with the Michelin stars, what does it take to go from 2 to 3? Is it...
Joe, if I knew that, I'd do it.
That's not a question for two-star Michelin.
What does it take to go from 1 to 2?
That's how to drop yourself in it, Joe.
You've just done it, Joe. I'm going to ring the police on the way home.
No, but is it really fine margins?
If I knew, I would be there. I'll be honest with you.
I've known him for years. You would never ask a two-star Michelin chef that.
Who decides who gets
Well, don't you have secret people that go to your restaurant
Yeah,
and
of
they
course
sit
you
in
do.
disguise and you think they're normal punters, but they're judging the food?
Do you know they're there? Do you know when they're there?
I don't know they're there, no.
That's a shame, really, isn't it?
It's not looking great.
Chuck them a few quid. I watched Ratatouille the other day.
Yeah.
And on that, they had
on top of that.
On top of that, yeah.
geezer come in to give Michelin stars. You know
Yeah,
what
I've
I mean?
seen
It's
that in
good
Ratatouille,
film.
yeah.
We've got a few of those.
I don't think you can compare his restaurant, though, to the Ratatouille restaurant.
No, I can't.
What are you on about, Joe?
Well, no, because I watched Ratatouille the other day, and it was all
Disney film.
And when they had an inspector come in, didn't they? It was the rat underneath the hat the whole time. Yeah, no. Sorry, guys.
It's all right. So we're looking for a rat then, is that what you're saying?
Right in a hat.
Right. So then what we do is we finish it with some kumquats.
It's wonderful.
Nice.
I hope you're hungry.
Now, I want you to eat this straight away. So we're
Right,
gonna
OK. Do you want me to save you some, James?
No,
You're
I'm gonna
I
make
want
him
you
one
I
afterwards.
need to appreciate it, because I've tasted this gentleman's food a lot of times, but I
Straight
want
in.
you to taste it straight off the bat.
Let's go.
Just try
Let's
that.
go.
Let me try some of this ice cream.
It's amazing.
What's the little bit chocolate? What do you put?
So that's like a chocolate ganache.
Do you know what?
The
This
bitterness from the chocolate.
is stunning.
The flavours are amazing.
Oh, the ice cream almost tastes like an orange sherbety sort of really...
That's because we blowtorch the skins before we make it, so you get that burnt flavour into the sorbet. So
Yeah.
it's just,
It's unreal.
Well, there you go. I told you he was good. Daniel Clifford, everybody! Legend. 25 years at the top of his game. Brilliant. Right, we've still got time for one more final dish, so join us again after the break where we're treating these two. In fact, everybody else has joined us in the studio as well, with a show-stopping recipe for steak border lays with a nice mashed potato. I'll see you after the break.
Lovely.
Welcome back, sadly, to the last part of the show. Oh, but I'm back in the kitchen with Joe Swash, Denise and Richard Burr today. And that's not all, because I just happen to have a little commie chef here. Somebody who's not bad in the kitchen. Mr. Daniel Clifford is here as well to give you a hand. So I'm going to put him to good use. I thought we'd do steak. Instead of steak and chips, I thought we'd do steak border lays.
Perfect.
one of our chefy favourite dishes. So I thought we'd do a beautiful bit of steak. Bordelais sauce I'm going to do over here. I'm going to put Daniel to work on mashed potato. We've got some bacon potatoes over here, which we're going to then put on rice nicely. And then what you want to do is you pop the steak in, nice hot pan, like that, and then fire up the heat. And we cook this nice and quickly, because you want a nice bit of colour on it. Now, Joe, you're taking note of this one, because I know you've nicked the recipe for your next book as well.
Yeah. Years of material.
This is the reason why he's here. He's here to promote a book, but he's here to steal recipes.
He's like a spy.
Denise, don't tell him anything, because he's just going to get... But we've just got a little bit of garlic over here, because you've got a new book out, haven't you?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, I'm really proud of it. It's my my cookbook.
Oh, let's have a look.
Yeah, you've seen it.
Have a little bit to model it, you know, like...
Yeah.
Can I just say, we get books in, but I just clocked this. So this is genuinely coming from your publishers. We've got something from HN Revenue and Customs in here.
Oh, no, that might be for my accountant.
Do you want that? Who's that too? Is that for you?
Is that for me?
Yes.
Well, I didn't think it was that much.
Right, hang on, I need to...
There you go. You can sign it to Denise.
I just need to do the old readies. We have that music that you get on a game show when we do the...
Can you do that for me now as well? Oh, look. Yeah. Oh, hello.
Can I have a signed copy, please? Because I'm your biggest fan.
Right, so we've got our steak over here. Now, I don't know how when you want your steak, because you sat next to a Frenchman.
No, I don't want it overcooked at all. Yeah,
Right.
so quite rare.
Right, good,
Yeah.
good, rare. So we got our garlic and bits and pieces in there. We're just going to add this. So I'll add my little aromats to this. We've got some garlic. I've got some fresh thyme. Throw the butter in it as well, all right? And then you want to get this butter sort of not brown, and then you keep basting the steak as it cooks, but we're going to get this nice and hot. Look, nut brown butter. Yeah. And then you take your steak,
lovely.
and we glaze this over the top, like that.
Nice.
So that's a nice bit of steak with
Like
it.
me when I'm sunbathing.
Just getting basted.
Just rubbing the oil on me.
The olive oil, yeah?
We're going to grab our steak now.
I've never heard of steak being called sunbathing.
Yeah, exactly.
Suntan lotion for mayonnaise one year.
Right, this goes on here.
Didn't know for 2 days.
Then we're going to take our gubbins out of the pan. Then I'll go over here, because I'll reach that bit. All right, that's going to go over there. So we fire up this one. Meanwhile, we've got our shallots over here, so I'll grab a little bit of our shallots. That's going to go in here. So our sauce comes in the form of a little bit of red wine. Touch of this stock, that's the key to it. Move that out of the way. But it's this. This is the marrowbone. What you do with this, you just simply roast it in the oven. So 45 minutes in the oven's perfect, all you need. 200 degrees. Then take it all out. We've got our marrowbone over here.
What flavour does that add? What sort of flavour?
Marrowbone.
Yeah, what is it? Is it... like, is it like meaty? Is it meaty or...
Is it meaty?
Sweet?
Meaty, but it gives it...
Explain to this.
Well,
Joe.
it's like butter.
Don't explain too much, because it's chapter 14.
Well, I'll be honest with you.
What do you mean, what is it?
Royalties. We want royalties
Like,
from this.
what does it add to a dish? What do you...
What does it add?
Yeah.
Flavour.
Flavour. And what's that flavour it adds?
Well, meaty, like a meaty flavour, but normally it's like a...
Like a meaty flavour.
I wasn't ready for this.
I wasn't ready for that. I took half of this.
No, I think what it adds is it adds texture, but it also adds flavour, but a fatty, so it brings a fatty, so it makes it richer.
All right, amazing.
So look, we've got our... I'm just going to warm this up. This is particularly just for this chap over here, Joe. We're just going to warm up our bone marrow now. That's going to go in there. The steaks are just warming through over there. Mashed potatoes happening over here. This is the key to making the sauce. So you think it's all about this
reduction.
bit. So this is the bit that people get wrong, I think, when they're cooking at home, is they don't reduce it down enough, would you say? So I think the key to this, really, you start off with a load of liquid and you end up with not a lot of liquid.
Right.
So this is the point about it. As you're reducing it all down, it changes the texture of the sauce, but this is quite liquid at the moment. So what you want to do is reduce this down. Now, you can only do that with stock that's come from baking bones.
Yep.
And the old-fashioned way of making stock would be roast off the veal bones. You'd put water in it, start with a massive great pot. You take the liquor and you reduce it all down. And that produces the stock. The French call it jus. Now, while that's happening, our marrowbone is here, which is there. And then what we want to do is we scoop this out.
No, I can't wait for this.
I think it's the... You know what it is? I think it's the idea of what it is. It's the inside of a bone. I'm sure it tastes nice.
Can I just say, what's the difference between stuff that's inside of a bone and the stuff that's outside of a bone?
It's not marrow.
And also, what did you eat in the jungle? Come on.
Exactly.
You must have had,
That
like-
was disgusting.
What's the worst thing you had to eat?
Oh, I mean...
Eyes.
Yeah, I'd say...
Oh.
But what was that like in the jungle? Because, you know, you just think, really, well...
Yeah, it's an experience. It's one of those things that you probably won't want to, but you can never pay for that experience. It's tough, it's really hard. You get to know yourself really well.
In what way?
No, just like you get to know, like, who you are and what other people think of you. And, you know, it's a great level in the jungle. You can go in with, like, any sort of preconception and try and be someone
single,
else.
come out of a wife.
Exactly.
You're back to basics, aren't you, when you do something like that? It's like the raw version of you, isn't it? You're
exactly.
exposed.
And also, there's a nice part, you know, we live these crazy lives. It's so busy. Sometimes it's nice to sit around and just talk to people, you know, not do anything. But, yeah, I loved it. It was a great time for me.
Well, we love watching it as well. But anyway, good luck with the book, good luck with whatever you're doing, and I'll see you tomorrow.
I'll be back next year.
See you for Boxing Day.
Same jumper.
Same jumper.
Sleep on the couch outside.
That's good.
So there's your steak. We'll just leave that off to one side. There we go. Now, the sauce, I've got the certain chef doing the little sauce over here.
Is good.
So we need to leave this to rest slightly a little bit. Sauce is all right?
Perfect.
Happy with that? So the bone marrow's gone in there when you weren't looking.
It's gone in where? It's gone in already?
It's gone in the sauce already.
All right.
I've got another one of these little Maurices. There we go, different one. There you go. We'll just take our mashed potato.
Look at that. That's smooth.
Stop it, James.
That's that.
English quenelle.
What's going on?
English quenelle. It's just a dollop. The difference between a quenelle and a dollop is 28 euros. So I don't know what you're talking about. Look,
Yeah,
it's just
€30 now.
30 euros.
First thing.
No, I love it.
Since Brexit.
When the chef does a dollop, it looks like that. When I do it, it looks like a mess, doesn't it?
So we're going to lift off our steak like that.
That looks wonderful.
Looks amazing.
Bit on there, bit on there.
It's gone quiet.
Yeah.
Now it's gone quiet, you see.
Is that how you like your steak? Yeah,
It's how he's getting it. I don't care how he likes it.
No, but do you like it more rare than...
Happy Christmas.
Is it terrible?
Send it back. It's not rare enough.
I've cooked it a little bit. I've cooked this one a little bit less for the Frenchman. There you go.
Oh, there you go.
And what do you call this dish?
I don't know. I'm past caring at the moment. So.
James's steak. Amazing.
So you got a lovely little sauce over there, like that. Sits on over there. That looks pretty good, that, Chief, doesn't it?
Looks beautiful. Nice
Bit of
sauce,
that.
chef.
Oh.
Huh? Nice sauce, chef.
Thank you.
Oh.
And mash.
Touch of watercress to go with it. But there we have it. My version, well, with a little help from a good mate, my version of steak bordelaise. Happy Christmas, all.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Bon appetit.
Oh, thank you.
I was going to say, give me some stuff. There you go, Denise.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you, James.
There you go, fella.
Oh, wow.
And we're gonna go rogue chef. Is that all right? We're gonna slice and dip, if that's all right.
Get in there.
I'll shift you a bit this way.
Yeah, thank you. Have you got room there? You all right?
Oh, don't worry, I'm fine.
Get some mash on there as well.
Lovely.
The first time they've all been quiet.
You feed us. We're fine.
Nice,
Oh, it's so good.
Glad you're enjoying that. Well, I know you're all busy as well, but happy Christmas to you all.
Merry
Denise,
Christmas.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
I'll see you tomorrow sat there anyway, as well. Exactly, she'll be here and back again. That's it, that's all we've got time for today. A massive thank you to all my guests. David Thompson, Daniel Clifford, Richard Burtonay, Joe Swash, and of course, Denise Van Elton. Thank you. We'll see you back here, same time tomorrow morning on ITV. Yes, we're on tomorrow morning as well. We'll be celebrating Christmas Day with chefs Galton Blackiston, Gareth Ward, top chocolatier Mark Tilling will be here, my my guests will be Aurea Duba, Carly Powley and Fred Syriacs. Until then, take care, stay safe. Thanks for watching, everybody, and happy Christmas to you all. Thank you very much.
He's stealing my steak.
He's nicking the steak.